And now we're even seeing small amounts of fruit in there. So,
oh, in 2023, now we're having fruit. Why, Thomas? Hi, I'm Chris James. You're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today we're going to be reacting to How to Start a Keto Diet in 2023 by Thomas DeLorme. And I want you guys to hit the subscribe button, because we're about to dive into this. It's a pretty long video. We probably won't do the whole thing, but we're going to get into a little bit of it because I'm curious to see what the complete guide of ketogenic diet looks like in 2023. Let's go.
okay, so I wanted to do this video as an updated 2023 version because so much has changed in the world of ketogenic research, and it's good.
I want to say something real quick as we're getting started here. It's so common with these diets that so much has changed in the past 5 years or 2 years or 1 year. Why is there so much change for a diet that is complete and is working and well-researched? All of the things that they told us a year, 2 years ago, if it's so freaking amazing and it's so complete, why are there so many updates? There's not any updates on the dietary strategy that I use. It's the same dietary strategy as it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
To have a refresher to understand how to do it properly. So let's first jump in with what a ketogenic diet is if you're brand new to this or if you just need a refresher on it. Okay, a ketogenic diet is a fasting mimicking diet. Okay, what that means is we are reaping the benefits of a fast, but by having food in our system still. Because we get all these benefits that come from.
That definition is very problematic. And I'm not trying to break down everything in this video. A fasting mimicking diet. So you're getting the benefits of fasting without having to fast. That just doesn't even sound right. And as a matter of fact, this was presented to me years ago, probably 5 years ago. There was a doctor that wanted me to promote his ketogenic food, or he called it fasting mimicking. Okay, so I don't know if they're necessarily one and the same. But I was like, you can't mimic fasting. Either you're fasting and you're going to get the benefits of fasting, or you're doing some alternative. Now, I'm not saying the alternatives don't work, and I'm not saying they're not beneficial. But what I'm saying is you can't mimic fasting. Either you're fasting and you're getting the benefits of fasting, or you're not. And you may be getting something else, which still could be beneficial.
Fasting, and we see that with epileptic patients in the early research in the 1920s, right? But we can't expect people to fast forever. So researchers found that, okay, if we just deprive the body of glucose, we can actually have these same benefits. So what the ketogenic diet is it's not just copious amounts of garbage meat and cheese. It's a very well-crafted diet with moderate amounts of protein, relatively high amounts of fat, low amounts of carbohydrates, and moderate to high amounts of vegetables. And now we're even seeing small amounts of fruit in there. So,
oh, in 2023, now we're having fruit. Why, Thomas? Why are we having fruit in there now? I'm wondering. Well, the ketogenic was so great. Wasn't fruit the actual devil? I'm curious. Let's continue.
We're going to go ahead and break it all down. Now, from a survival and sort of evolutionary standpoint, the reason the ketogenic diet works is because your blood glucose, your blood sugar, never goes down to zero. Okay, it's a common misconception that when you do keto and you don't eat carbs, you're gonna go hypoglycemic, and that's not the case. So what actually happens is being in a ketogenic state, as it's called, means that your liver is producing a different nutrient. It's producing ketones, and your liver is producing ketones because you are not consuming carbohydrates. So what happens is the brain needs glucose. So the brain starts sucking up a lot of the carbohydrates that are naturally floating through your bloodstream, even if you're not eating carbs. And what this would mean is that your muscles would starve, right? Well, the body doesn't want your muscles to starve. So in an effort to provide the brain with adequate amounts of carbohydrates and glucose, the body produces ketones. So the liver produces these ketones and they fuel your body and to a certain extent fuel your brain, but the primary sort of evolutionary reason behind the ketogenic state is to actually allow the brain to soak up the glucose so that our body doesn't have to. Before we get into the how-to...
I don't have anything to say about that. I just wanted to let you guys know that I think the body is incredible. I think that, not having one fuel source, the body switches to a different fuel source, or not getting one nutrient, the body switches to producing that nutrient, or you can't, within reason, you can't beat the body. Like it's adaptive ability is off of the charts. And I just think shout out to the body.
We have to look at sustainability, and fortunately now we have new data from 2022 from larger scale meta-analysis that show us, is the ketogenic diet sustainable? And the short answer is yes. And is it safe? And the short answer is yes. And a lot of even the opponents of the ketogenic diet have now turned a page and said, you know what, yeah, it does work equally and sometimes even better than other diets.
Yeah, maybe because you guys are updating it. Maybe because it's not the original diet that you were promoting. You're changing you're moving the goalposts. Maybe the naysayers were talking about the original ketogenic diet, maybe like the 2020 ketogenic diet. And now in the 2023 ketogenic diet, they're like, okay, the diet's better. I mean, look, and I do this a lot when I have my clients. I want you guys to imagine that you eat, y'all remember that movie Super Size Me? I want you to imagine you're eating McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? Now, I think we would all agree when we talk about the SAD diet, the standard American diet, it does not mean breakfast, lunch, and dinner McDonald's. Can we all agree that? Most people eat at home. It's still processed foods and stuff like that, or they'll eat at nicer restaurants like sit-down restaurants. When we talk about the standard American diet, we don't really mean eating McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? So I think we can all agree on that. So that would be a different diet. That would be the Super Size Me diet, right? So if you guys ate that, let's say that you did eat McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you decided to switch from that to the standard American diet, which is still a little bit of fast food for sure, right? But then maybe a little bit finer dining. I won't say fine dining, but Applebee's. Applebee's, maybe is better than McDonald's. And you still go to the grocery store, you buy groceries. You might not buy fresh produce, but maybe you get frozen produce, or you'll get a TV dinner or something like that. It's got vegetables and stuff in it, right? So if you went from McDonald's diet to standard American diet, guess what? You would see health benefits. You would start losing weight. You would start thinking better. You would be like, bro, this diet is working. Yes, it's working because it's better than the diet you were using before. And I think the greatest argument, and one of the things that I say listen, I'm not against the ketogenic diet. I'm not against it at all. I just don't think it's a complete diet. I think it's something that is evolving and it's changing, it's adapting. And when I very first heard about it, I said, that's not a healthy diet. Now, can you lose weight? Yes, you can. We can't deny that. The proof is there. But how sustainable is it? And what I have started to see is a lot of people that were in the ketogenic diet early on have actually moved away from it because their weight loss stalled. And a lot of people joined it for the weight loss, okay? There's obviously other benefits to it. We understand that. But that was the primary reason for a lot of people. And when that started to stall, they were like, okay, it doesn't work anymore. And they kind of went back to their old habits, which was one of my fears. We have to understand how the body works, what it needs, what it wants, and move from that type of foundation versus something that's just better than what you were doing before. You know what I'm saying? Now, everybody has their journey. Everybody has their journey. And I know I have ketogenic diet users in my following and in our Facebook group and stuff. And I allow them to talk and promote and whatever, because if you are eating McDonald's diet and someone's promoting the ketogenic diet and you're like, I could do that, then that would be better, right? You just extended your lifespan. You maybe lost some weight, you reversed some diseases. So that would be a good thing. And I think that there's tiers to this wellness journey. And I don't see any issue with that. I want you all to continually keep your eyes open and keep updating this stuff and making sure that you're doing what is optimal for you in this moment.
There was a 2022 study published in Nutrient Reviews that found in the first year of a ketogenic diet, there were improvements in HDL cholesterol levels, there were improvements in triglyceride levels, improvements in fasting glucose and fasting insulin levels, and various other improvements upon lipid markers and glycemic markers all the way up until 12 months. After 12 months, it was no better than other diets, but it wasn't worse or wasn't unsafe.
See, that's the key right there. The research is showing it. Now, I'm sure he's going to continue this, but that part right there, it's like it works for a year, right? Where you're seeing all of this amazing. He basically just proved what I said. And I don't know what he's going to say after this point, but that basically proves what I just said. It works to an extent. And I think that's why they've been altering it and playing with it. Let's see.
So the point is that you have all these amazing things that happen inside of the first year, and after the first year you can decide, hey, if I like this, I want to keep going with it, and if not, whatever, move on to something else, that's fine, you got a good year out of it. Then there was a study that was published in Diabetologia in 2022 that was a meta-analysis looking at over 20 papers, okay? And it determined that with all of this data compiled, that the ketogenic diet is a very viable dietary solution for metabolic syndrome. So for metabolic dysfunction, for mitochondrial issues, for potentially diabetes and things like insulin resistance. And the study said, and I paraphrase, quote, "The ketogenic diet is a safe diet and provides promising approaches for metabolic syndrome, even if optimal carb proportion must be explored." What this...
Oh, hey, okay. I don't have any problem with any of that, you know? But it's like, but we got to know that, okay, what? After a point, we're going to have to make an alteration. And that is the crux of my argument, because now when you've been doing this thing for a year and you get all these benefits and it was all great and it was all downhill and then all of a sudden it just plateaus. Now it's like, okay, what do you move to? Oh, you just keep doing that? I mean, I don't know how long these studies go, but what are the long-term effects of just staying on the ketogenic diet? And what do those that lost benefits look like compared to a different dietary strategy? Something like what I promote, which is a whole food plant-based diet. Now, I don't promote that you have to have, like be 100% whole food plant-based or anything of that nature, because I think that's a very tough transition for people. And the world we live in, there's just so much trash. So that's a very difficult jump. But if you just move to something like, 70% whole food plant-based, it will vastly change your health and wellness, and it won't have that huge plateau like you get with the ketogenic diet. And then, of course, as you continue down that road, you could actually just continue to increase that percentage from 70 to 75 to 78 to 80, and you could improve your health incrementally as you start to adapt to the diet and how your lifestyle changes so that you can, maneuver this diet and all that type of stuff. I know there's science to prove everything. No matter what your opinion is, there's science to say, oh, that's right, or oh, that's wrong. But in real life, based on the people that I've experienced, worked with, just seen, I have never seen anybody have a long-term health issue because they were eating a whole food plant-based diet. I've never seen it. I've seen people who have thought they had a health issue from utilizing this type of diet, and really they realize, oh, that was just a detox. You know what I mean? And I know detox gets overused, but you have to understand the signs of detox to be able to say, okay, whether it's a detox or not. And when you go and get your blood work done, the blood work can tell you something that's not true, because as your body is cleansing and is detoxing, especially if you've been using fasting, the numbers aren't normal. Because remember, all your numbers and everything is based on a 40-year-old white male who probably is not fasting. Okay? So the numbers may look a little wonky, but what you need to understand is the body is a self-regulating organism, and so it's designed to be highly adaptive, and as long as you're giving it the basic resources it needs to do its job, it will do it. And we just have to trust it. And we've been taught that our bodies they're incomplete, that they are not perfect at all, that they need help from man and all this other stuff. And I believe that our bodies were made whole originally. And what we're seeing is a degradation. We're breaking the bodies down, especially over time. You see the bodies start to break down, and they're not functioning the way they should. Also, we're being introduced to foreign substances, and I got to be careful with my words because I got banned the last time I talked about this. But we're being at very early ages, from 0 to 3 years old, we're being introduced to foreign substances, and it is hindering and it's altering our bodies. So I'm not going to go through this whole video. I think this is kind of good enough. A ketogenic diet has never been anything that I have personally resonated with, but it might resonate for you, and this might be a great video for you to listen to kind of learn more about it. I mean, I don't know that most people are talking about how the ketogenic diet like benefits you for 12 months and then after that it kind of plateaus. I really appreciate Thomas and his straightforward approach. He really just looks at the papers and whatever the science says he goes with, which is cool. It's a little problematic because the science can be manipulated, and this isn't on him. This is just the actual the mechanism that is modern science. Can be very easily manipulated, which is why I don't really lean heavy on it personally. I like to look at personal experimentation. Anecdotal evidence is heavy in my teaching, because it's like, hey, this person who has no other agenda besides that they want to lose weight or they want to get healthy had this result. And we compile that data and we look at it. We're like, okay, so most people are getting X, Y, Z result, and that's kind of the way I like to teach. I think it's just more realistic. But you guys let me know what you think. I know those ketogenic people in the group probably might be, I don't know if y'all going to be upset or not. I tried my best to be as objective as possible. But ultimately, yeah, I do believe that a whole food plant-based diet is going to be best. I don't know. All right. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.